Played a wet game on the road last week and comes home to do it again. These are hardy folk, these Duck fans, and they're here in all their full-throatedness as the Stanford Cardinal comes to town. We welcome you to Autzen Stadium. We're on the campus of the University of Oregon here in Eugene, Oregon, where it is great weather for, well, it's great weather for ducks. Sloppy, ugly day here in Eugene. P, going to be a ground game, there's no question about it. And Stanford right now comes in here with one of the best ground games in this conference.
They run the football in a very physical way, and Toby Gerhart is the reason. This guy is just flat out a fantastic back. He can go over 1,000 yards today. He's right at 911 right now. He is very strong through the contact zone, sheds tacklers, and he has deceptive speed. This guy's a good back, and he should get about 25 carries in this football game this afternoon.
Yeah, 4 straight 100-yard games for Toby Gerhart. Well, as good as Stanford is running the football, so too is Oregon. And they run the football in large part with their quarterback.
Yeah, Jeremiah Masoli has really been running the ball a lot this year. He's not too comfortable in the pocket, Barry. The guy's got a very good arm, but he's had a difficult time finding receivers all year. But he's very comfortable getting outside and running the football. He's a tough kid. He's very physical. Struggled last week in the rain against Cal with 2 interceptions. Also had a fumble. This is another rainy game, but he can really run the ball. This is a tough kid, and I think that's why Bellotti is sticking with Masoli as the quarterback.
And Stanford with an opportunity to do something they haven't done since 2001.
They're going to go to a bowl game if they get a victory in one of the next 3 games. They're sitting right now at 5 victories. That is an amazing turnaround. If you knew this team in the last few years, Jim Harbaugh has absolutely changed everybody's attitude about Stanford football and the way they play.
Oregon is struggling in the red zone. Stanford comes in here on a bit of a roll. They're playing very solid football. So it's the Ducks and the Cardinal here on a rainy day at Autzen Stadium in Eugene. Whoever can run the football, you feel, might have the best idea to come away with a victory.
Just mentioned, with a win today, Stanford becomes bowl eligible, first time since 2001. So counting today, they have 3 chances to win 1 game. But it's not going to be easy because the schedule makers have saved the best for last for Stanford. After today, they go home to play USC, one of the best teams in the country, and then finish up across the bay against the Golden Bears in the big game. Now, Stanford beat both of those teams last year, which means besides being really good, California and USC will also have the revenge factor working for them. So that all that means that this is probably their most winnable game left on the schedule. History is against them. Oregon has won 6 in a row in this series, but this is not your Stanford Cardinal of your dad's age. Remember, those teams used to outscore teams by throwing the ball. Now it's a stout defense and a punishing run game. So they're going to play on a full field today, but maybe Stanford's bowl hopes and their season will be decided in that thin ribbon of space between the offensive and defensive lines. When you talk about the weather, you think that rain would be an advantage for Oregon. Both teams played in the weather, heavy rains in the Bay Area last week. Oregon lost to Cal. They stumbled through a bad game. Meanwhile, Stanford, who never plays in the rain, rolled up 344 yards and 58 points against Washington State in a rout. Well, here in the Willamette Valley, they have attitude about rain. Just moments ago, 50,000 people stood as one voice and yelled, "It never rains at Autzen Stadium." Really? Really? It never rains here? One other thing, no umbrellas. Look at the crowd. You won't see one umbrella here. I walked out of the tunnel with an umbrella about 90 minutes ago. One guy looked at me and he said, "Hey, Watson, it's only water. Man up and lose the umbrella." Where's the love, man?
No, it's absolutely true. I mean, they don't think of this as rain. And in fact,
I think of it as rain.
Oh, it's definitely rain. I was 6'3" when I walked in here. I'm down to 5'9".
What is it? I don't understand. If it's not rain, what's happening here at Autzen Stadium? It is a wet day, and Jeremiah Masoli, as we talked about, had a lot of trouble with the wet ball at California. This is going to be a tough test for him.
You know, the other thing we have not talked about, both these teams play very good special teams, but at the moment, Oregon special teams are struggling a little bit. Stanford at the very top of its game. Oregon won the toss, they deferred. Stanford will get the ball first. Chris Owusu is going to be the deep man for the Stanford Cardinal. A shortish kind of kick. Owusu handles at the 8-yard line. Right back up the gut, lost the football. It's picked up by the Ducks and knocked out of bounds. At about the 18-yard line was the kicker, Matt Evenson. So right out of the box for the Stanford Cardinal, it is usually Jonathan Stewart. He was not available today, and so they went with Owusu, and he coughed it up on the opening kickoff, and Oregon will have it at the 19.
Well, there's Owusu, just a freshman, and that ball goes flying out of there.
So a huge break to start the game here. And this is Masoli on the keep. And he'll get it down about the 19-yard line. 9 touchdowns in their last 15 red zone attempts. Here's the numbers on Jeremiah Masoli. Does have a strong arm. Still working on his decision making a little bit, especially in the red zone. So it's going to be 2nd down and 5, and a fumble picked up by Masoli. Masoli looks to the end zone. Now he pulls it down and throws it away, intended for Mayo. The Oregon offensive line presented by Acura. It is strong. Jeremiah Johnson will alternate with LeGarrette Blunt. 3rd down, 5. Play fake. Masoli pulls it down. Now he throws and throws it out of bounds.
Not on the same page right now with Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator.
So a 37-yard field goal attempt by a guy who's not tried one this year. Morgan Flint, a change for Mike Bellotti, and he drives it through. And this one's driven by Evenson, about 5 yards deep, and Owusu will not come out with this. So Stanford will start at the 20-yard line. Pritchard, the junior quarterback out of Tacoma. They line up with Gerhardt and Howell in the backfield. Howell now splits to the near side, and a quick pass to Howell. Howell shakes the first man, and we'll get it to about the 25, a pickup of 5. Offensively for the Cardinal, presented by Acura. Alex Fletcher, the absolute anchor at the center position. We talked about Toby Gerhardt. Josh Catron gets the start at fullback. Pritchard throws again for Gerhardt. Gerhardt's cracked at the line of scrimmage. And Nick Reed, of course, very active on the edge. Oregon, very good sideline to sideline. Spencer Pasinger now playing healthy, and he can really stick you. And the secondary, of course, all those big names, and T.J. Ward is the guy that the coaching staff says played better than anybody else.
He's making a lot of very physical tackles, and they've moved him up toward the line of scrimmage because of that. This guy's the best tackler on the team and their leading tackler.
3rd down and 5. And here's the pitch this time as Lucas comes into the ball game. They try to run the option, nothing doing.
Big Greek, the giant Greek, to run the ball at quarterback, and that time they brought him in to run the option. It didn't work.
This time it's going to be Bird receiving the punt, steps through a couple of tacklers, another missed tackle, and Bird's going to get it all the way to midfield. A good return and some sloppy tackling. Oregon will start right at midfield. Jeremiah Masoli, the quarterback. Jeremiah Johnson, the running back. Masoli straight back. Throws a little bubble screen this time, and it is caught. It's going to be a big game for Drew Davis down the sideline, the 15, the 10. He will go into the end zone. Let's see. Out of bounds, they're going to say, and about the 5-yard line.
And Chip Kelly, offensive coordinator, catches him with kind of an inside screen. Great blocking on the edge by the Oregon Ducks, and Drew Davis getting his first start today for Jason Williams, who is almost a record-setting receiver here at Oregon, but has dropped a lot of balls. Drew Davis comes in. Intensity, taking it down the field, very fast, shows a lot of speed, great play.
1st and goal. And here's Masoli to the short side, throws to the end zone, caught, touchdown. Jeff Mayo on the reception, and Oregon jumping on Stanford early.
Jeremiah Masoli started just as slow today as he finished last week's sloppy 7 for 21 performance at Cal, but then steps it up after the punt with 2 big completions, short passes as they were. He gets Drew Davis for the big gain, and this time on a designed pocket moving, gets the ball to Jeff Mayo, who's really the inside slot guy. He's also been plagued by drop balls. Great confidence builder for the Oregon offense early in this football game.
Absolutely. The 45-yard pass to Davis, the big play of the drive, and then a 5-yard scoring pass from Masoli to Mayo, and a try for point by Flint is up and good, and with 11:36 left in the first quarter. That's going to go out of bounds, so the Cardinal will get good field position at the 40-yard line. Underway with Oregon leading 10-0. Stanford at the 40-yard line, and to give to Gerhardt, nothing doing. Might have gotten 2.
Well, they got to continue to run the football, especially right now. This is not a Stanford team that is built to come from behind. They did come from behind against Arizona earlier in the season, but they can't get down much more than this, and they have to remain blue-collar. Continue to run, remain blue-collar. Basically the same thing. They got to be themselves. Run the football, be physical, take some air out of the ball.
This time out of the gun. And Pritchard to give to Gerhardt, gets a little opening and drives forward close to a 1st down.
Well, they've already started with that fast start. The way these guys get out and the speed really just shocks Stanford, especially on the inside screen to Drew Davis, and they need to force Pritchard to beat him. They want him dropping back and throwing the football as much as possible, especially 7-step drops. really trying to get down the field so Nick Reed can make some quarterback sacks.
Alex Lucas is back at quarterback now. They run the option a lot with him. Lucas pitched to Gerhardt. Gerhardt, nowhere to go. Stood straight up. As coming up right through the gap was Casey Matthews.
As this game develops, you start to realize that Stanford is really going to have to bring their lunch pail if they run the ball in Autzen Stadium, because Oregon is always great at stacking the box, especially here at Autzen Stadium.
You still feel we can run? Well, so far not with great results. Pitcher this time play fake, in trouble. Has to unload, does, wide open this time. Is Delano Howell.
Did a good job adjusting to the pressure, but that ball was there, and then Delano Howell makes the catch and stumbles a little bit. He's got to turn and run, but you see in his anxiousness to get that first down, he stumbles a little bit. If they don't get the first down on this play, it's Tavita Pritchard's fault for not making that throw earlier. T.J. Ward with the tackle.
Lucas back at quarterback here on 3rd down and 3, a big play. And they keep this time by Lucas, not going to get there. Second effort will get close. Unless he gets a generous spot, I'm not sure.
The big creek there. Lucas, Deerfield High School in Illinois, Bannockburn, Illinois. Not afraid to take on one of the better tacklers in the Pac-10, one of the best tacklers in the history of Oregon football, Patrick Chung, and Lucas wins that battle.
Pritchard takes a deep drop. He's in trouble. He's hit as he throws. What a catch made by Whalen, and a first down at the 25-yard line.
Starting to shine on the Cardinal here. Big hit on Tavita Pritchard, but he stands in and makes an incredible throw, and an even better catch by the walk-on, former walk-on Ryan Whalen, who just does what he's asked, the leading receiver on the team. That's one of the best catches we've seen all year.
I'm telling you, that's a highlight film catch. And we're going to get a stoppage here and a timeout.
There you go. Someday we'll find it, Barry. The Rainbow Connection.
It's there. I know
the lovers, the dreamers, and us.
We knew Stanford would rotate their quarterbacks, and sometimes they actually tip their hand at that quarterback position. Pritchard, of course, more the drop-back guy, could slide, move a little bit. So when he's in, they're more likely to throw. But Lucas, as you've seen, much bigger and stronger. He's the running quarterback, just earned that first down. And they also like to get him on the edge, so they have that run-pass option. Oregon came in ready for both, but they expect Lucas to get more snaps by the time we're done.
Pritchard at quarterback now at the 25-yard line. First down, Cardinal. Lucy comes in motion to give us to Kimball. Nothing doing. Second down and 12. Pitch to Gerhardt. Oh, yes, it is Gerhardt. Gerhardt not going to get much. He'll get back close to the original line of scrimmage. Pasinger again right there. And they're going to run it with Kimball. And Kimball slips the first man, but not the second. They'll be stopped well short of the first. Hit this one at the 29, so a 39-yard effort. And he drives this pretty good, and it is good. So Stanford on the board, 6:17 remaining first. Oh, we talk about how good the special teams were. So far, we've had a fumble on special teams and 2 kicks out of bounds. Here's the Stanford defense presented by Acura. They will rotate 8 different players on that down line. Amajoy, just a sophomore, anchoring in the middle there. And Bo McNally, a guy everybody talks about, plays with his hair on fire, just gets after people. Starting at the 40-yard line, so again, good field position. Here's that screen, and beginning to run before he got it was Fluger.
Now this is, of course, the return of Nick Saban. And Bama coughed up the kickoff, and LSU's on the attack again. They have just scored. It's 13-7.
Wow, just like that. A lot of scoring there. Jeremiah Johnson gets the carry on first down. He's stopped by Eric Lorig after a pickup of 4.
Cardinal defense needs to get on and off the field right now and send a message early in this game that they will not keep giving up yards and points.
Straight back again, and another screen, and this time with a little room is Johnson, and first man misses him, and Johnson gets the first down across midfield, exactly what the Ducks need.
If a defensive lineman gets his hands on a guy like Jeremiah Johnson, who's under 200 pounds, that play is probably going to be over, but Johnson, great job of breaking the tackle and getting the first down. That's what he does for these Ducks.
At the 49-yard line. Masoli give to Johnson again. Johnson gets ahead across the 45 down to about the 43-yard line. And 5. Masoli going to throw, has all day, as he whistles it right by the ear of his intended receiver.
Jeremiah Masoli just not comfortable sitting back in that pocket. There's no question. that he looks uncomfortable, that he likes to be on the move, he likes to run the ball, he wants to get hit, he's a tough kid. He just has a hard time sitting back there and throwing the football, even though he's got a good arm.
Well, he's going to do it again here. Now he runs to his right, and he is in trouble. Gets away from one, gets away from two, and gets it ahead. Close to a first down, but he will be about a yard and a half short of Cardinal. Crowd, of course, urging the Ducks to go, and I suspect they will here. That is Justin Roper, the backup quarterback, signaling the play in. Give to Johnson. First down and more. 35-30 to the 20, to the 15, still on his feet at the 10, the 5, taking people with it. Touchdown, Oregon. What a run by Jeremiah Johnson. 40 yards.
Dragging the Stanford corner, Wopamo Osai the whole way. And this is an early, big-time run in a football game for Jeremiah Johnson, a guy that has split some time this year with LeGarrette Blount, but he really wants to be the featured back, really wants to be known as the featured back, wants to carry the load, takes it all the way into the end zone with those side, broke a lot of tackles, about 5 on that run. Great run by Johnson.
Try for point once again is up and also good, and Oregon leads it 17-3. Here is Owusu at the 10-yard line. To the 20, a little gap, to the 30, 35, to the 40, 45, and gets close to midfield. A big return.
Similar gap opens up on the other side of the field, takes advantage of it, and the kicker who recovered the fumble on the first play of the game, Matt Evenson, comes up with the tackle this time. They took him away from the field goal duties, but he's making a lot of plays on the kickoff.
Yeah, he is. So Pritchard will go out of the gun on first down. Incidentally, Toby Gerhart was taken to the locker room after the last series. So Kimball is the running back. Pritchard with time. Throws it out this time, that is caught by Catron.
As you mentioned, Gerhart not only not in the game, he did leave the field, and he's had a lot of injuries this year, and you can add another one to it. It is a groin. It happened the last time he carried the ball. When he jumped up, he was shaking that right leg out a little bit, and then he asked to come out of the game. They worked on him a little bit. He ran up and down the sideline. He's had a shoulder, he's had a knee, and now this. And in fact, in practice, he wears a yellow jersey because he is not to be touched.
So we'll keep a close eye on him. Cardinal need him, no question. Here's Kimball. Kimball gets a little gap and will pick up about 6, maybe 7.
They're looking up these days, but they need Toby Gerhart if they want to get back into this football game. He's a physical runner, and you get hit a lot and hurt a lot when you run like he does.
So a first down is short of the 33-yard line. Here's Kimball again, not this time. Lost about 2, maybe 3 yards on the play. Great pursuit by Oregon.
They're doing a great job. Rashawn Harris that time getting involved. Also Spencer Paceker, who's playing a very good first quarter.
So second down and 13. Pritchard drops, throws, threw it wide, and taking a real pop was Doug Baldwin. And it was T.J. Ward who popped him. T.J. incidentally wearing the number 29. A different Duck player wears that every game in honor of Todd Doxey, who of course died tragically in an accident in the Willamette River earlier this year. So in honor of him, a different player will wear his number 29 in every game.
And Ward punishing, I mean, absolutely punishing Doug Baldwin on that play. And that's on Tavita Pritchard for hanging his receiver up.
Third down. 4-man rush. Pritchard steps up, he'll run, got room. Down to the 30, 25 to the 20, and dives down to the 19-yard line with a Stanford first down.
Pritchard has 1 touchdown running the ball this year. He is an average to good scrambler. Not as good as Lucas, obviously. But Tavita Pritchard doing a great job of getting down just in time, exposing his back to Patrick Chung, who's another big hitter roaming that Duck secondary.
So the Cardinal at the 19-yard line with a first down. Out of the gun this time. Pritchard give to Kimball. Kimball's got a little room. 15 and stopped at the 10-yard line. Might have had more than that. 29 of the 31 times they've been there. That's number 3 in the nation.
Nice zone cut by Kimball.
Now they flopped the lineman. It's an unbalanced line, and it's Kimball running behind it. Goes the other way, and will have the first down.
Keeping that Oregon offense, that quick-hitting Oregon offense off the field and resting their defense on the sideline.
They bring Howell up on a wing this time. Kimball is the setback. And Pritchard rolls to his right, throws underneath this time to Howell. Howell will get to about the 4-yard generous spot there. T.J. Ward runs him out. Can't say enough about T.J. Ward. The coaching staff feeling that he is the most valuable player. And as I look down, Toby Gerhardt running back onto the playing surface now. Not into the lineup quite yet, but he seems to be running without a lot of pain right at the moment.
Now they might miss him right now in the red zone if they don't throw him back into the football game. 13 touchdowns on the year for Gerhardt. He got taken out of the Washington game earlier in the season with a concussion.
Second down now and goal. And Kimball again, and not much there. Kimball maybe gets to the 4-yard line. And again, it's Spencer Pasinger, the first man to it. We're prepared to start the second quarter here on Pac-10 College Football Saturday. It's been all Oregon so far. They lead it 17-3. Cardinal with an opportunity. Third down and goal. They're at the 5-yard line. Kimball remains the running back. Pritchard to throw. Looks to the end zone. Has a man. Touchdown Cardinal to Josh Catron.
Has been open for the Cardinal throughout the first quarter. Here in the first play of the second quarter, no Toby Gerhardt on the field. And Pritchard throws a very catchable ball to the fullback, Catron, a junior out of Torrance, California. That's his 4th reception of the year and his 2nd touchdown. A lot of special teams tackles. He's a very active player for Jim Harbaugh, and he has a lot of those.
Playing in place of Marisic, the try for point is up and good. Liz Rogers, 133 rushing yards against ASU. Zach Follett of California, tremendous linebacker. And David Beeler, the kicker from Southern California, booming his kickoffs.
He's got a big leg. I tell you what, Mike Bellotti really wanted T.J. Ward considered for the Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Week. In a loss to Cal, instead it goes to Follett from the same game on the Cal defense. T.J. Ward, as we've been talking about, has just been out of control on the defensive side for the University of Oregon. 2 forced fumbles in that football game versus Cal.
A short kickoff this time. It's going to be Thurman at the 11-yard line. Thurman looking for a gap. Now he skips into one. Gets to the outside. A flag is down. 30, 35. Tries to cut it back. Gets by a man and lost the football. And let's see who's got it. Stanford saying they do. They do. Thurman just had the ball stripped while he was fighting for more yardage. There is a flag down on the play. And it seemed to be...
There is no foul on the play. Ball was recovered by Stanford.
Thaddeus Chase for the Cardinal, who recovered the ball.
The third, who is a very good cornerback fighting for extra yards in this situation. He's been bothered by a groin all year.
Howell knocked the ball out of his hands, Pete.
Delano Howell steps up. He's been active on the offensive end, pursuing Thurman, and Thurman able to stay on his feet, fighting for extra yards, and Howell gets the last laugh.
Has it at the 40-yard line. Chance to tie the football game in the touchdown. Here's going to be a halfback pass, and now Kimball's going to run with it, and he gets a little something out of nothing. The man was covered downfield.
Gerhardt's still warming up on the sideline.
Second down and 9 after all of that. This time Pritchard to throw, 5-step drop, clear out this time for Kimball. Kimball to the 30. Kimball about the 26, first down Cardinal. Pasinger makes the tackle.
I'll tell you what, Barry, before the game, I would have never suggested a shootout, but Stanford might not have a choice today with the way this game is shaping up in the first half.
Completely different, and it's been the passing, not the running.
And you see Tavita Pritchard finding the outlet route. Kimball turns around, does a good job of not backing into the route, just turns around, shows the quarterback his numbers, catches the ball first, and then goes and gets the first down. That is senior play from a very experienced running back.
8 of 9, 63 yards for Pritchard. Here's Kimball, and Kimball with a gap. Gets to the 20, gets to about the 16-yard line, close to another first down. Walter Thurman makes the tackle for Oregon, and Kimball will be very close to another Stanford first down.
Well, whenever you have a running back that performs as well as Toby Gerhardt does, and you have a strong backup, an experienced guy that can also run the football, this is just a very simple isolation play. Nice block by Catron. Kimball does a good job getting behind him, but you really have to give a great deal of credit to this Stanford offensive line and the way they've blocked people up in these almost archaic run plays that Jim Harbaugh likes to throw out there. I love to watch him run, and there you see Toby Gerhardt still trying to figure out and loosen up that groin. And these are plays that most people know how to defend. That's why college football and professional football in the early 90s started to go to zone running, a much more creative way of running the football for the running back as opposed to getting off double teams because linebackers were just reading too much. But Stanford seems to run power, Isolation, all these old run plays very well, and Harbaugh's not afraid to pull the trigger on.
And this is Howell, skips into the hole, gets it down about the 15. Pickup of about 2. John Bacon, middle backer for Oregon, on the tackle. There's a give to Kimball. Kimball bouncing outside. He's got a little room, and he's cracked as he gets inside the 10-yard line to about the 8. It's going to be 3rd and 1.
Watch him just jerk his whole body and his feet all the way to the side to find the open space and gets it up almost to the first down. Great run by Kimball. Great vision.
3rd down and short, and Kimball, I don't know, gonna be very close. It will depend on the spot where they're looking at it. I think it's gonna be short.
Kimball's given his best effort to push the pile, takes the ball where it's supposed to go, sees a bit of a soft spot in that defense. But Rashawn Harris got his arms around his waist, and that's all she wrote when a big guy like that gets a hold of a guy like Anthony Kimball.
It's a fake, and this is gonna be a Stanford touchdown. On the move with the ball was Bo McNally, the holder, and he takes it in for the score. And there was something inside me that said this is
still wet, even though the rain has stopped. Watching this happen here in Eugene, Oregon, Bo McNally, really one of the best football players on the Stanford team.
And Zachary's try for point is up and good. And how do you like it? We are tied at 17. Stanford takes advantage of a fumble on the kickoff, as did Oregon to start the game. Thurman at the 6-yard line. The 15-20, and cracked as he crosses the 20-yard line by Bo McNally, the man who scored the touchdown for the Cardinals.
Here is my best Vince Lombardi impression. You're going to get a seal here and a seal here, Barry, and it's very, very easy to draw up and very, very easy to look at. That's a gaping hole. Oregon was not expecting it. All the Stanford offensive linemen on the kick team had to do was turn their hips around, and there's a huge hole for Bo McNally to run right through, and then he goes down and makes a tackle on the kickoff.
Oregon the other way. Masoli, quick toss this time, and nothing doing. Great tackle in the backfield that time by Clinton Snyder.
Young man out of San Diego, California. Still a great playmaker on Jim Harbaugh's defense.
2nd and 10, and here's LeGarrette Blunt getting the call, and he'll get about 3.
Definite breakneck speed, very difficult to defend. It's hard for Stanford to get their packages and all their blitz guys in and out of the game.
3rd and 7 now from Masoli. Throws a slant. The ball is caught this time, and it's going to be very close to a first down. Drew Davis, and I think he's got it.
He gets picked on a lot, and that's the reason he has so many tackles. He's a junior out of Monroe, Michigan, but definitely the weaker of the 2 corners for the Cardinals.
And they give this time to Blunt again, and Blunt will get very good yardage. He'll pick up about 8.
This is a quick-hitting duck offense. There's no question about it. Some of the stuff that Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator, is able to pull off is just mind-boggling to me. The way they play with their pace, even with inexperienced quarterbacks, getting guys in and out of the game, calling plays at the line of scrimmage. But this would be a good time for Oregon to try to grind it out a little bit.
2nd down and long, 2, and to give this time on a reverse to Scott. Scott's got some room. Midfield 45 and out of bounds at about the 42-yard line of Stanford.
See Scott coming on the end around. Bo McNally came flying up, and it would have been a spectacular tackle, but Terrence Scott just too nifty with his feet to let McNally make that play. Nice straight arm. McNally ends up with a face full of the rubber on the field. Gets down the field for the first down.
First down at the 43-yard line. Here's a give this time to Blunt once again. And Blunt is going to be stopped at 40, and a flag comes in. Ball game.
Number 57 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
One of the problems with this spread offense is there's so much space out on the field that a lot of these offensive linemen are unable to get away with stuff they're usually able to get away with because the officials can see it. There you see number 57 to Mo, kind of the headlock.
Yeah.
Look, that's always going to get called on Tom Geiser.
This time Masoli pulls it out of Blunt's stomach and throws it short.
And Mike Bellotti told us if Masoli struggles like he did last week against Cal, and he's kind of been 50-50 in this football game, he will not hesitate to pull Masoli and put in Justin Roper, who started the first game of the season versus Washington, got hurt versus Purdue, but also got hurt in that Washington game. Roper's been very inconsistent.
Now they have Harper as a tailback. Here's Masoli. There's the pitch to Harper. He juggles it, and he's cracked. 3rd down a bunch. Masoli straight back in trouble, steps up. And he gets out of one tackle, but he's not going to get out of the next one. And a high snap. Pulled down nicely by Suri. And it's going to hit and now take a bit of an Oregon bounce. about the 14-yard line. So Stanford will have a long field. Well, still no Toby Gerhardt as the Cardinals start at the 14-yard line. Kimball, the running back. In motion, Patron, and they give to Kimball not much.
Believe me, I've played in this stadium when Oregon is a very good football team, and they're a pretty good football team this year. This crowd gets wild, and it just emotionally drains you. When you make a small mistake, even a 2-yard loss, it feels worse because of the crowd.
And this crowd on the home team, at least on the offensive side of the ball right now. Pritchard going up, steps up, throws, got a man, catch made, Baldwin, first down Cardinal. Pritchard looking all league right now.
Absolutely, the heroes of this football game right now are the Cardinal offensive line. You see Pritchard just very comfortable in that pocket, able to step into that throw. Baldwin comes open across the middle inside that Oregon. They are way ahead of schedule in turning this program around.
Absolutely. Give to Kimball. Kimball dragged down from behind after game 3.
We know that Oregon is a politically active state, and it continues here in Eugene where the Ducks flocked to the polls in unison on Tuesday. Before that, the team nutritionist, James Harris, he got a voter registration drive going to sign everybody up. Then Bellotti on Monday told everybody, make sure you vote tomorrow. Out-of-state guys sent in their absentee ballots, players debating politics in the locker room. As a whole, the team was pretty psyched about the election, but it's a tough week for the McCain guys, and whether they were blue or whether they were red today, oh, they're all wearing green, aren't they?
That's right, exactly, as they always do. But the guys in the white right now battling. Pritchard play fake with time, and now he has to step up. Now he's going to run, trying to get the outside, ran into his own man. So Stanford going to call its second time out of the first half. Here's what's happening right now in the Pac-10. USC, they're 7-1. They play California today, but Oregon State is the team that are the masters of their own fate.
If Oregon State wins out, they will be in that Rose Bowl. And Oregon State, in the Mike Riley era, has been perennially very strong going through the end of the season. Most of it has to do with the play of the quarterback. Once quarterbacks grasp Mike Riley's system, there's little stopping the Beavs as they go through the end of the season. And we talked about Jacquizz Rodgers as the Pac-10 Player of the Week on the offensive side. Chance to win out and make it into the Rose Bowl, but they got to get through this Oregon team, and they got to get through UCLA today.
And their quarterback hurting a little bit right now. Probably won't play it. Out of the gun, Pritchard has a little time. Now he throws underneath, almost picked. Great job that time reacting to the ball by Jarris Bird.
I'll tell you exactly why. When those Oregon corners are up, Jarris Bird and Walter Thurman III, these are very fast, very physical corners. Pleasant trying to almost hurdle Kimball to get to that ball for the interception. He was far away from it. But the athleticism of these two Oregon cornerbacks, and the two safeties for that matter, is amazing.
Here's a punt, a twisting kick, and it's going to be allowed to hit. And Oregon just trying to get away from it. It will be down at about the 32-yard line.
Well, Jeremiah Masoli, for what he's been able to do this year, and he's run the football very well, 424 yards coming into the game, just hasn't thrown the ball well.
There's Jeremiah Johnson, already a 40-yard touchdown run under his belt. He picks up about 9 more here. Again, it is Johnson. Johnson trying to kick it outside. Got a great block from Masoli, and is going to get it inside Stanford territory at the 49-yard line.
Taylor Scoffel and Chris Evans end up making the tackle on Jeremiah Johnson. There you see Masoli with the big hit on Maynard, bends him back, arches Maynard's back with a hit. Great job.
Once again, the give is to Johnson as they now will tempo up.
Going to be on Stanford on a late hit on Max Unger.
After the play, dead ball personal foul, number 20 on the defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Sometimes when you wear that big neck roll like Clinton Snyder, you feel like the rules don't apply to you. After the whistle, Clinton Snyder puts a pretty big hit on a great offensive lineman for the University of Oregon, Max Unger.
First down
that neck roll.
That's it, at the 28-yard line. Jim Harbaugh, no-nonsense guy. His whole staff that way. Masoli was going to throw. Now he steps away from trouble again, buys more time, and finally throws intended for nail incomplete. Masoli this time on the give to Blunt. Not much, and again a flag comes in. Hold, I believe it was Mark Lewis that they got.
Holding, number 71 on the offense, 10-yard penalty, replay second down.
Cardinal, there's no question about it with the way they play.
3 minutes remaining in the first half. This time it's Masoli on the keep, looking for the pitch man. Now he gets the pitch man. And it's Mail, and Mail stays on his feet and is stopped right around the first down line. He's going to be a little short.
Great display of feet by Jeff Mail, sophomore out of Paradise, California. Watch him tiptoe on the sideline. Stanford bodies flying everywhere. Finally, Bo McNally comes with the shoulder and knocks him out of bounds.
Dead ball, false start, number 51 on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
It's really amazing when you talk about what Chip Kelly has accomplished here at Oregon. And obviously last year much better on offense with Dennis Dixon and Jonathan Stewart, but still just amazing the things they can pull off in the no huddle and the substitutions they make. It's fantastic to watch.
Yeah, it's really fun to talk with Chip too. Here's a quick pass over the middle and a catch for a first down. Masoli on the keep this time, and he's stopped by McNally. Pickup of about 2.
One of the things Chip Kelly was talking about that really impressed us is in modern football, offensive coordinators are really trying to outsmart the defensive coordinator, maybe a little bit too much. And there's Chip Kelly right there. You can't miss him at a New Hampshire live free or die. But he doesn't care how they make the yardage. He says if we got to run, we'll run. If we got to throw, we'll throw.
Well, this time he's going to run. And it's Jeremiah Johnson inside the 10-yard line, about the 8. It's going to be 3rd down.
Well, anybody thinks that Oregon has superior athletes to Stanford is absolutely right.
Yeah. That doesn't always win games. Here's Masoli, looks the end zone, throws, knocked out of the hands of Drew Davis. Drew Davis, and it was Chris Evans who knocked the ball out of his hand.
Nice ball by Masoli.
Field goal try, Morgan Flint. He made his first. This will be a 26-yarder, and he drives it through. And Oregon has retaken the lead. They lead it 20-17. Evanson will squib this one. It takes a high hop as Rusi fumbles it again. Now he bounces off one man, gets to the 23-yard line, and I'm sure Jim Harbaugh's heart stopped. Shows you what I know, huh? Pritchard throws and a one-hopper. Still going without a fullback here, so it's a passing formation. And Pritchard's going to keep this time when the option flag comes in. The Ducks saying it is against Stanford.
Holding, number 63 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
Pritchard give to Kimball, and Kimball will get it to about the 15-yard line. And the clock does stop, and Oregon has called a timeout. And watch out for this mail truck. Look out!
We're going to take the drive around campus. This is Animal House. That was Dean Wormer's house. Double secret probation for everybody. That was the food fight cafeteria. We all remember that sorority. Belushi up on the ladder. Knowledge is good. Old Faber College.
That's right.
No love for Emily Dickinson College on the drive around campus, though. Come
That's
on.
right. That's right.
Fawn Leibowitz.
One of the all-time great
I mean,
movies.
come on. Never, you know, you just can't not watch it.
Oregon can stop the clock again. They possibly could get the ball back here. Lucas just going to keep it himself and be stopped for a loss of about a yard back at the 14-yard line, and there's 30 seconds left. TJ Ward made the stop. So Bird going to be the deep man, and the left-footed punt is going to hit fairly short and take a good Stanford bounce. Pflugrad is in the backfield, and they're just going to take a knee and not even bother with this. So they didn't get the good field position, and the Oregon Ducks, interestingly enough, are going to go off to a chorus of boos as the fans here are not real happy with the Oregon offense.
Very kind of strange to hear some boos at Autzen Stadium. You're up by 2 touchdowns at the end of the first. Your defense is playing great. What happened?
Well, we stopped playing great on defense. We gave up some 3rd-down conversions. We gave them great field position with 2 poor plays on special teams. It's simple. We just have to keep it up, keep the energy up, and get going.
I know we were keeping an eye on Masoli to see if he'd calm down in that pocket. Any chance of seeing Roper? Where are you right now?
We'll talk about it. There was a chance here. We'll just see. I think Jeremiah, again, is getting better. Last series, he hits the guy in the end zone for a touchdown. We just drop it. So
Appreciate the time, Mike. Thank you very much. All right.
Yeah, indeed, especially Stanford early in the game with the early turnover, and Oregon got started fast, and it almost looked like it was going to be a blowout, but Stanford got their bearings, like that old Donovan song, get thy bearings, and they're so well coached by Jim Harbaugh. This is not a team that's going to get blown out a whole lot. They figured it out. They ran the football. They kept it simple. They really had a lot of possession time and a lot of plays run, especially all the way through the first quarter, even with Toby Gerhardt going out. They ran their offense, and they looked really good in a very hostile place.
So Zachary will kick it off for the Stanford Cardinal, and that tells you everything you need to know about the weather conditions here. And it is a high end-over-end short kick. Thurman at the 10 to the 20, trying to take it to the outside. Got a gap, flag down, 35 to the 40. Zachary can't get him. He's at midfield to the 40-yard line, still on his feet and out of bounds to 30, but I believe this one is coming back. That long, slow walk back
by the
now.
return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
And instead of having the ball deep in Stanford territory, in fact, the Oregon Ducks will start at about their own 13. Here's another look.
Well, everything's set up pretty good for Walter Thurman, but there you see the flag right there, way back, and that's what sprung the play.
So Masoli remains the quarterback. And the give on first down to Johnson, and he is met immediately by his Sione Fua. Oregon out passing Stanford, but I thought actually Stanford was more efficient in the passing game. Oregon did have that 145-yard pass to Davis. Kind of skews those stats a little bit. There's Johnson again. Johnson this time gets a little gap. Tries to step the outside. Look out. He's the 30. He's the 40. And he is finally run down from behind by Vince Evans at the 42-yard line of Stanford.
Well, he had the big run in the first half. This time just showing great feet getting around. Looks like a hold there on Bo McNally.
Sure
no
did.
flags. Nice cutback by Johnson. And finally he is corralled. But this guy just got great feet, great moves. And he goes up the field so well, the young man out of Los Angeles, California.
And a definite hold on the play. Here's LeGarrette Blount gets the corner, and he cuts it back inside. Going to be close to another first down.
Barry, I talked to Jim Harbaugh coming out of the locker room. He actually liked the way his defense played in the first half. He said they're flying to the football and they're stopping the run. That hasn't happened so far. Offensively, he was very impressed with Kimball. Didn't have great numbers, but Anthony was effective when he touched the ball. Remember, Toby Gerhardt missed most of the first half. They said he will be back. He is available. I said, what about that fake field goal? He said, we've never run it before. Perfect, wasn't it?
And here's some shoddy tackling once again by the Stanford Cardinal, which will not make Jim Harbaugh happy.
And Taylor Scoffel missed 2 tackles on the 2 plays before that. This is great running, though, by LeGarrette Blount. He is a very physical back. He's a guy that has some limitations in pass protection and knows what to do with the ball.
And this is Masoli trying to get to the edge and does flag down. Masoli's knocked out of bounds.
Illegal block in the back. Number 8 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
Well, there it is, right in the foreground. Terrence Scott with the hold and the illegal block on
Yes,
Chris
both.
Evans.
Ball loose. Cardinal have it at the 34-yard line. So again, the Cardinal get a big break. There's McAndrew getting right on it, covering it up. Stanford will have it when we come back. So the Cardinal takes over after the fumble recovery by McAndrew. Kimball remains the tailback for Stanford. This is Kimball. Bounce to the outside, gets a little room, gets ahead to the 40-yard line, pick up 7 on first in traffic. Turnovers costly last week, and so far costly again. Kimball pops into the open. Look out, takes it to the outside, needs a block. He's at the 30, he's at the 20 and knocked out of bounds. 43 yards.
Well, Kimball sees the hole, gets by his center, who's on one knee in the middle of the hole, Alex Fletcher, and just is able to express himself going down the field with his legs. A very shifty back. Does a great job taking it down the field, and guess who's back in the game, Barry?
Yep, Toby Gerhardt back in the ball game for the first time since going out with what we thought was a groin injury, and we hear now maybe a little bit of a hammy. First down just outside the 21-yard line. Here is Gerhardt. Gerhardt is going to be stopped just as he gets started by Jerome Boyd.
In the Pac-10, rushing-wise, we thought he'd go over 1,000 yards today, but he's been a little beat up. But if his legs are fresh and he feels okay, this could be a huge boost for the Cardinals.
No gain on his first carry, so it'll be second down and 10. And this time, Pritchard going to roll out. Buys a lot of time. wants his receiver to come back. He had a man in the end zone. He let him go, and he'll take it down to the 10-yard line, and I believe he's going to have a first down.
A little bit of over pursuit by the Duck defense. He's coming out on the movement play. He's got an underneath receiver and two guys over the top, but just decides to tuck it away. Jerome Boyd overran the play a little bit, dives forward and gets a first down. That's a nice play in my book.
Out of the I formation. Pritchard give to Kimball. Kimball kind of tiptoes into the hole and doesn't get anything as Casey Matthews stands him up.
Petros was just talking about how strange it is that Stanford looks more comfortable in the rain than the Oregon Ducks. But if you look at the rosters, actually Oregon has more guys from California, 36, than Stanford, 23. And when I was walking in today, I came across the Willamette River, and there was a vendor out there selling all kinds of T-shirts. One of them said, the University of California at Eugene.
Talk a little bit more about that as we move along here. There's an inside handoff to Kimball. Kimball gets a little gap to the 5 to the 2-yard line. Garrett started onto the field and was pulled back by the Stanford coaches. Pritchard going to throw to the end zone. And Drake can't hang on. Double coverage there. And Pritchard trying to force that ball in.
Well, the fake might have worked a little better if they left Toby Gerhart out onto the field. He was pulled back, like you said, Barry, trying to get Jim Dre involved. 2 receptions this year, 2 touchdowns. This would have been 3 and 3 for the junior tight end, who's had a lot of problems with his leg.
Comes on to try and tie the ball game. 19-yarder. And Zachary drills it, and this game is tied at 20. It's kind of game that makes you wish they had artificial mud, doesn't it? And this is going to be Crenshaw getting it back to the 30-yard line.
Soak up some of the rain.
Blunt this time gets the call and doesn't get much. Stanford turns that one backward. Again, it was Sione Fua.
Well, the Ducks just have to relax within their offense at this point. They're in a tie game against a very well-coached football team, but the Stanford defense, because they don't play a lot of guys, has a tendency to wear down in the fourth quarter. If Masoli could just relax and not turn the ball over, run the ball, do what he does, they'll be all right.
Masoli going to throw. Rush comes. Masoli throws a screen. And a fumble. The ball loose again. Stanford has it once again. Here's another look at it.
Well, it's just a screen, a wide receiver screen.
Pflugrad was the receiver, and he just had it stripped away.
Scoffel makes the tackle, and Wopamo Osaisai, the Pac-10 100-meter champion, comes up with the fumble recovery before he takes a helmet right in the back.
So,
Mark Lewis.
Once again, miscues really hurting the Oregon Ducks. It's the 3rd Oregon fumble. Pritchard straight back, throws in and out of the hands. This time Pritchard out of the gun. And he was going to hand it off. Now he's got no place to go. That's a complete botched play right there.
Well, it all started with the drop pass by Fleener on first down. Stanford had a good situation to at least get half of the 10 yards they needed on first down. Didn't happen.
And the crowd gets right back into it. Deep drop this time. Now Pritchard steps up, and now he's in trouble. Gets away from one man. Now he's going to tuck it away, step out of bounds at about the 39-yard line, take the safe way.
Stanford's been great on special teams for almost all of this afternoon, except for the fumble on the opener. This is a big special teams play for Stanford.
And Green hits this one high, a twisting kick. And that is going to be interference in the ability to make the catch.
Well, Clinton Snyder got pulled from the game in the first half for Will Powers because of a personal foul, late hit on Max Unger. This time, Clinton Snyder doesn't really know where he is on the football field. I think he thought that was a fake fair catch.
Team. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Blunt cuts it up, gets some room, 35-40, and up to the 45-yard line before he is tripped up by Pat Maynor and Taylor Scoffel.
Nice patience by LeGarrette Blunt. A lot of the time in rainy situations, backs making cutbacks slip and go down. LeGarrette Blunt does a great job stopping his feet and finding his way up the football field.
17 on the play and a first down across the 45. And this time on the reverse to Scott. And Scott coming off the wing position gets some room also. He's inside the 45 to about the 43-yard line, and that's going to be another first down, a gain of 11.
Chris Evans finally makes the tackle, and right now you can see what Chip Kelly's doing. Not too concerned with Masoli dropping back and being in that pocket and throwing the ball downfield. And why should they be right now when they're getting big chunks in this drive on the ground to start out?
Interesting, though, Jeremiah Johnson, 9 carries for 126 yards, and yet he's not in the ball game very much. This time it's Masoli on the keeper, And he gets down to the 38-yard line. He'll gain 5 on the play.
Well, that's not the kind of first down run you expect from your quarterback, but what a physical run by Jeremiah Masoli, really carrying Chike Amajoy with him all the way for a nice 5-yard gain. I mean, that looked like LeGarrette Blount running the ball. Masoli's a tough kid.
And here's Blount. Blount's got a gap. He's the 20. He's the 15. They're not going to get him. Touchdown, Oregon. 38 yards. And that was quick.
We talked about the Cardinal defense wearing down in the fourth quarter. Here it is in the third quarter. They get a turnover on the last series. Really put their offense in a good position. Pritchard can't do anything with his offense. And here you go. They're starting to miss tackles and wear down. LeGarrette Blount, once again, with a very nice cutback. Has his feet under him in the rain, does not slip, finds the middle of the field and takes it to the house. Great run by the junior college transfer out of East Mississippi Junior College by way of Perry, Florida. LeGarrette Blount, we've seen him have some great long runs this year, Barry. For a big physical guy, he sure can't get out when he has to.
And here's Amajoy coming off the field with a little hitch in his giddy up as he was dinged on that play. Taylor Scoffle was helped off the field after the last play. 38-yard touchdown run, and Stanford getting beat up now on the defensive side of the ball. Then drives that through, and Oregon now leads it 27-20. A line drive kick, and Owusu coming back right up the gut. Got a little gap, and it closed down quickly as he got to the 35-yard line.
Barry, we all know that Oregon can get a little gimmicky. They bring the duck onto the field on the back of a Harley before games. And just a couple of minutes ago, they took the tree out on the field, get it, the Stanford tree, and cut it down. But the weather is so bad. The rain is coming down so heavy. The chainsaw actually stalled, so the duck just kind of kicked the thing over. And I'll tell you what, we've seen everything today. We've seen light rain, sprinkles. We've seen rainbows. And I'll tell you now, it is, while the sky has turned ugly, my friend, it is dark. And it is coming down pretty hard, and it's also a lot colder. I'm standing down here just getting dumped on. In a related story, I hate both of you.
I was going to say the heater underneath our table here
beautiful.
is functioning really well this time. It wasn't so great last time when we were here. It was 65.
I took my sport coat off. It's like the Bahamas up here.
Stanford on first down. Kimball about a step away from breaking that. He's at the 45-yard line.
I'm a little disappointed that the Cardinal didn't bring the tree with him. By far my favorite mascot in all of college football is that dancing tree with the crazy legs dancing style.
Dutch elm disease has been running around in the Bay Area.
We really have to agree to disagree on the tree.
I know.
I love the tree.
I know you do. That's our first fight. This time, Pritchard on the keeper and saying hello to Spencer Paysinger. Or was it Spencer Faceinger?
Well, he definitely hit Pritchard right in the neck. Davita Pritchard with the fake and didn't expect Paysinger coming right off that edge. And you expect the Will linebacker to have a lot of plays free, and that's a nice textbook big tackle. That's how you make a tackle. Doesn't matter if it's a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, offensive lineman, whoever's running that football, that's the way you tackle a great play by Spencer Paysinger, who's had a renaissance year at Oregon.
And a big play right here for the Stanford offense. They need to do something to stop the bleeding. And now they're going to have to call a timeout. And in a close game, you hate to see that. With 4 minutes to play in the third quarter, Stanford's going to have to burn a timeout. The ball at the 43-yard line, Stanford. This time the Ducks come with a late blitz. Pritchard throws over the middle, and a great grab that time by Delano Howell, and a flag comes in late. It's right at the 50-yard line. There was
After the play,
drawing going on.
unsportsmanlike conduct, number 29 on the defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, there you are. There's your answer, T.J. Ward.
Well, here comes Delano Howell, the freshman, who's been playing a lot for Jim Harbaugh toward the end of the season. Makes the catch, brutal hit. And that's Eddie Pleasant on the big hit. And it was the talking by T.J. Ward that was the penalty. What a huge break, not only with the first down play, if indeed it was a first down, but with the penalty, it doesn't matter on T.J. Ward. T.J. Ward, a great tackler, a great player, but really hurt his team there.
Penalties have really been costly for the Oregon Ducks in this game. give Stanford a new life. They're at the 35-yard line. Lucas, the quarterback, he's got some room, and he falls forward across the 30.
Well, we've been watching Delano Howell, this freshman, and he's really becoming something for Stanford. Harbaugh loves him, says he's one of my favorites. And in a meeting earlier this week, Harbaugh said, Delano, you did a great job last week, but don't let me overcoach you. Harbaugh is telling a freshman, you're a great football player. Don't let me overcoach you. If I do, let me know. Gerhardt loves him, said he's an animal. McAnally says the kid's a beast. They're trying to get him all over the field. Remember, he came to Stanford as a defensive back.
Yeah, he's going to be a big-time player for this team. This is a very good young football team. Here's Kimball trying to dance into the hole, and he can't do it. He stopped for no gain.
You know, even if Harbaugh was overcoaching me and he had told me, tell me if I'm overcoaching you, I don't think I'd say anything to him.
No, I
think I'd just let him overcoach me. I don't think I'd ever look at my head coach or position coach at the college level and say, you know what, you're overcoaching me. But a very nice gesture by Jim Harbaugh telling his young running back, Delano Howell, don't let me overcoach you. Big third down coming up for the Cardinal. And we haven't seen Toby Gerhardt since he came in very early in that third quarter.
They got to hurry and get this play off here. Harbaugh was jumping up and down trying to get him out of the huddle, and they do get it off in time, and it's Lucas given this time to Kimball, a flag down. And Kimball still on his feet inside the 15 to about 13, but
Holding, number 63 on the offense, 10-yard penalty, replay third down.
Chris Marinelli, second time he's been guilty today.
Well, that's going to turn Stanford into a 3rd and 15 situation, and that is not a good situation. Toby Gerhardt back onto the field for the Cardinal. There you see Marinelli with the hold, and that is exactly what sprung Kimball. Nice call by the official.
3rd down and 15. Pritchard straight back. Throws, ball's caught this time by Gunder, but it's going to be well short of the first down, and 52 yards from here, if you're thinking about a field goal. T.J. Ward is there on the tackle. And it's a real tough decision here for Harbaugh. You certainly would think that you wouldn't want to punt the ball from here. So Stanford, it appears, is going to go for it. Pritchard goes under center. Gunder comes in motion. They just get the snap off. Pritchard with time steps up, throws deep, looking for Owusu, and he cannot hang on in the end zone. So the ball will go over to the Oregon Ducks. Right idea, but double coverage there.
Not a bad throw either, but the double coverage of Jarris Byrd and T.J. Ward is going to be very difficult to slide that ball in there. It would have been an unbelievable catch and play by Owusu if he was able to pull it off, especially in these sloppy conditions. And I can't help but think that these conditions have something to do with a lot of the penalties we've seen in this football game as well. Both teams having a hard time.
Stopped it. Jeremiah Johnson is back in the ball game. He's already had 2 40-yard plus runs. And here is Johnson again at the right side, steps out of a tackle, and still managed to turn it upfield. He did get to the edge, not going to get much out of it. If
Johnson, and you see the 2 backs for the Ducks, both of them very productive in this football game. And again, Chip Kelly does not care how they get it. He said it's not a beauty contest. If we got to run the ball to get our yardage and pick up scores, that's what we're going to do.
2nd and 12. Here comes Johnson the other way. And again, he gets that little gap, but it closes down quickly.
It's going to be interesting to see what Oregon does in this 3rd and long situation. Of course, they're not going to huddle up.
Stanford has only thrown the ball twice here in the 3rd quarter.
This will be the end of the 3rd quarter as Masoli heads to the sideline. Are they going to run the ball with a quarterback? Are they going to run the read option? How are they going to handle this?
Well, they're going to have some time to think about it, because the 3rd quarter comes to an end. The rains continue to fall. Been a little bit sloppy, but so is the weather. Oregon leads it 27-20. 1 quarter of football remaining to be played here in Eugene. We start the 4th and final period. Let me fix some numbers that we mentioned earlier. Stanford 16 plays in the second half, 11 runs, 5 passes. Oregon 13 runs. They have not thrown the ball until now. Masoli, a screen. He's got room. That's Johnson, 40, 45, midfield to the 45, to the 40-yard line of Stanford and a first down. And a big one. Will Powers makes the stop. But all of a sudden, Stanford's starting to get knocked back off the ball. 25 yards on that play.
The Cardinal is tiring defensively. The field's very spread out with Jason Williams way up top. And a nice screen. They really suck the defensive end. Tom Kaiser, he comes flying in. Jeremiah Johnson able to get up underneath him, and a nice head of steam before anybody got to him. Easy first down for the Ducks.
At the 39-yard line, there's Williams in motion, and to give to Johnson again. And this time Johnson with no place to go and a flag once more. Masoli this time, give it to Johnson. Johnson taking people with it. Picked up about 5 where there really wasn't anything to begin with. Fua and McAndrew on the stop for Stanford. And there's the numbers that we were just talking about. Oregon just about even pass run in the first half, just about. Second half, just 1 pass and went for 25 yards. And this time it's Masoli on the keeper, and Masoli lost the ball! And I believe the Cardinal have it back again. They do! Penel Igbo recovers for Stanford, the 4th lost fumble by the Oregon Ducks, and that one is huge.
And it was an effort fumble, similar as the one we saw from Walter Thurman III, Jeremiah Masoli. And it looks like Bo McNally was really trying to get that ball loose and eventually did. That ball was very low, not great ball security by the quarterback. And he's got it hanging down there, actually tried to use the ball and the arm to balance himself to stay up. And Masoli in that situation, as a quarterback especially, has just got to get down and live to fight another day, as their offense had a great chance. Now Stanford with new life again that their defense has given them. Can the offense take advantage?
Which it has not here in the second half. Jim Dre goes in motion, and again is to Kimball. Kimball on a cutback. Came very close to popping that. Picks up about 4 yards. Jerome Boyd on the stop for Oregon. You can see the weather conditions continuing to degenerate here.
And there you see Masoli, no doubt, on the phone with his offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly. This is just a kid that has a hard time playing in the rain, not comfortable in the pocket, likes to run the football, but that time gets out and runs and makes another mistake. And it's very interesting. We heard that if Masoli did not play well, that he was going to be pulled for Roper, and that has not happened. They're just happier running the football and keeping things very simple.
Here's Pritchard this time on a rollout, looks downfield and throws it away. Man was covered all the way. It was Ryan Whalen, and there was only a couple of people in the pattern at all. Patrick Chung makes the stop.
Gerhardt's in the game. Anthony Kimball also in the game. Kimball's over 100 yards, 21 carries for 101 yards in the game so far.
And Pritchard is going to have to burn another timeout. They have 3 receivers to the left side, 1 to the right. They need 6. In fact, a little bit more than 6. Listen to the crowd. High snap, Pritchard pulls it down. Now he throws deep, looking for Baldwin. Got it at midfield. It's Whalen on the catch, and a first down, a 29-yard pickup.
Well, if the Autzen crowd was ever going to get to the Stanford team, it would have been there on 3rd down, but it doesn't happen. Tavita Pritchard, very comfortable in the pocket and really able to release that ball well, hang it up there for Whalen to make the catch. We saw him make a beautiful catch in the first half. This one bounces off his chest and off his wrist, but he gets the feet in bounds. Patrick Chung, Walter Thurman III in the area, but still first down Cardinal. Big play.
What a huge play. Pritchard going to go up on first down. Swing out of the backfield for Campbell. Got some blocking at the 40, at the 35, at the 30-yard line, dragged down at the 28-yard line. So after being stagnant, Stanford has picked up 51 yards in a hurry.
And this is not an easy throw to make for quarterbacks. 1 foot in front of the numbers for the tailback. There is a flag down on the field.
And Stanford moving backward.
26 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
Chung left a moment ago with an injury also, and wrapped up right as he gets the football. Well, moving ahead with the football, I beg your pardon. I thought he gave it up to Gerhardt, and he didn't. It was Alex Lucas on the keeper to midfield. Pickup of 7.
Well, here's going to be the hold on Delano Howell. There it is right there. They're going to say that's a hold on Boyd. Didn't look like much of a hold to me.
So now it's going to be 2nd down and about 11. Lucas remains the quarterback. Lucas can throw the football, incidentally.
Really?
He's going to do it right here. I'll show you. Look. He's in trouble. I don't think he ever felt the presence of Will Tukuafu coming from behind him. Now 3rd down a bunch for the Cardinals. Pritchard back in the ball game. Look out. Pritchard gets away from trouble. Now he rolls out, buys himself some time. And he is in trouble. And you know what? That time I was watching his receivers down the field. His receivers did not react at all. They didn't come back to him. They didn't move. They were just standing there to the sideline. Jim Watson, Waddy.
Gary, besides the Oregon defense, the conditions have really gotten bad. So Stanford's trying to throw. Remember last week they called that a monsoon? I'm walking the Stanford bench, and they're telling me that this is actually worse than it was last week. And more importantly than all that, the product is completely broken down in my hair.
I hate when that happens.
At least he doesn't hate us anymore. This ball's been slipping on Fletcher, snapping the ball. I mean, it is bad out there.
Green's punt, twisting kick, short kick. They will let this bounce. And now he touches the ball, does Bird. He's going to have to go back and dive on it at the 7-yard line. And I'm sure that caused a little screaming from the Oregon coaching staff. And the rains continue to fall here. 27-20, Oregon leads it. They start at their own 7-yard line. They have not been able to hold on to the football. And they give this time is to Blunt. And Blunt, no place to go. And he is barely going to be able to get out of the end zone. They're going to spot this at about the 1-yard line, probably inside the 1-yard line. His body was in the end zone.
That's a little bit of inexperience shown from LeGarrette Blunt inside his own 10-yard line and stopping and moving backwards to try to get more yards. Oregon's in a situation now where they want to have a nice, long, sustained drive that eats up a lot of clock. Any kind of points makes this a 2-possession ball game, but now they're in a terrible position.
So going out of their own end zone, the ball at the 1-yard line. And to give this time to Blunt again, they'll get it out to about the 4-yard line. And it'll be 3rd down, and a lot. Cardinal again shuffling its interior linemen.
And despite Oregon's ability to play fast and get people in and out with the no huddle, Stanford has got their substitutions and packages going pretty well.
And that snapped over the head of Masoli and out of the end zone of safety. So again, the mistakes just keep mounting for the Oregon Ducks, and that was clearly a weather-induced mistake.
Well, there's no question about it. We talked about Fletcher and the ball slipping out of his hands and the shotgun. That time out of their own end zone, Oregon. Max Unger just sends that ball flying. Masoli never has a chance at it. Wisely lets it bounce out of the end zone instead of trying to pick it up and keeping it in play, where Eric Lorig was bearing down and could have recovered it for a Stanford touchdown and tied this football game. Unger, all Pac-10, every watch list there is, Remington watch list for the best center in America, with a costly mistake. And there really is no tomorrow in a lot of these situations for some of these teams. Stanford battling to be bowl eligible, and Oregon trying to stay legitimate in the conference. There you see all these great centers. O'Dowd at USC, a young phenom, Juan Garcia at Washington, a real soldier playing through a tough year. Curley at Arizona has had a great year. Kenny Alford at Washington State has always been very good. I mean, these guys never stop.
And he drives this pretty well. Owusu at about the 13-yard line. Right back up the gut and stopped. I think they're getting a little weather in the Heartlands also, so I don't know whether or not that'll be a weather game, but it could be.
This is.
I'll say. Pritchard, short drop, throws a slant, catch made by Ryan Whalen. And a gain of about 9 yards.
And this Oregon defense has been playing well in the second half. Just mentioned that Stanford's only been able to get a field goal against them. That time, nice play call, getting the ball out, dropping back on first down to Ryan Whalen, and having a nice successful gain on first down is going to loosen up the Ducks a little bit, because they're expecting run all the time from the Cardinal.
They still load the box, do the Ducks. And here, with no chance whatsoever, is Kimball.
Now that's what happens when you run against the loaded box. You're not always going to have a great chance even to get back to the line of scrimmage. That time, Cole Linehan and Nick Reed right on top of Kimball, and he did a good job of just securing the football. Absolutely no chance for any kind of positive yardage, and now it's 3rd and about 5.
So we go from 3rd and short to 3rd and 5. And Pritchard going to throw. Steps up, throws. That's a tough pass. It's intercepted. Flag is down. Bird with the interception to the 40, to the 35, and knocked out of bounds. But let's see about the flag, and this may be interference.
They were early on Whalen. There's no question about it. An early hit. Whalen really getting up to get his hands on that ball. It didn't look like it was catchable. But I think they undercut him a little bit early, and that's the reason for the flag.
Pass interference, number 32 on the defense, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Crowd doesn't like it, but I think it was the right call. Here's a look.
There's Whalen, pretty nice route, but you see how fast Bird is, and Bird's athleticism and skill almost forsook him on that play because he was so quick getting back to the ball on the stop route by Whalen that he was right there when the ball went up in the air, and he was on Whalen's legs. Not a lot of contact, but enough to draw the flag, obviously.
So it gives Stanford another chance as Oregon doing everything it can to keep Stanford in the ball game here. Just inside of 7 minutes remaining. And this time Pritchard on the roll line. He's got the whole field. He's at the 40, he's at the 35-yard line, and he got a little bit tentative, I thought.
He didn't know what he wanted to do, and eventually T.J. Ward comes up and makes the tackle. Great play call on the bootleg, just absolutely naked bootleg by Pritchard. Everybody sucks in because everybody's expecting run from the Stanford offense. Great play call, and Tamita Pritchard saw a wall of Oregon defenders, doesn't necessarily have the speed or strength to pick a shoulder and try to run through everybody. Tries to stop and find a lane, but gets tackled in a gingerly fashion, like you mentioned, Barry, but still a first down.
Now Lucas give it to Gerhardt. Gerhardt gets it down about the 31-yard line, a pickup of about 4. Toby Gerhardt clearly playing hurt here. 6 carries, 10 yards for Gerhardt. It's been a tough day for him, but he was hurt early in the ball game. Here's Kimball, and Kimball's not going to get much. And again, 2 seconds remaining here on the play clock, and Stanford, I think, is going to have to call its last time out. Quarterback here on 3rd down and 4 for the Cardinal. Kimball is the tailback, and Lucas just follows Kimball into the hole and is not going to get there, not going to get within 2 yards of the first down. I have to think Stanford will go here.
Well, Lucas recognized that Kimball was really the right read to make. He should have given to Kimball. He'd like to run that read option with Lucas in the game. The giant Greek, Lucas, making the wrong read here. Should have just given to Kimball. Sees that he should have given to Kimball and tries to follow Kimball into the hole. And by that time, the Oregon defense had recovered. I'm not sure if Kimball would have gotten it either.
Well, here's the ball game right here. 4th down and 2. Kimball is the setback. And Pritchard going to throw over the middle. Great grab by Baldwin. First down, Cardinal at the 18-yard line. What a tough catch.
Doug Baldwin, we had him circled right there in the slot. They had Whalen way out deep, and then Baldwin, who's made some very good catches, only 16 receptions going into the game. Pritchard very comfortable again. You see, doesn't have a whole bunch of arm strength, but just fits it in there in a very tight spot.
Well, Pritchard is a guy who doesn't dazzle you with statistics, but all you have to do is harken back to last year at USC to know that he can win football games. Here's Gerhardt with a gap, and Gerhardt will get it down close to the 10-yard line with a little help from behind from his offensive line.
For the Oregon Ducks, assuming that Stanford can continue to roll and score a touchdown. There you see the big guy barreling down the field, and Patrick Chung, Paysinger, everybody on the Oregon team trying to stop Toby Gerhardt, but he got fresh legs because he hasn't had a lot of carries in this football game. Tamita Pritchard has been very solid in this game, other than the 3 lapses, at least in the second half, of the 3 timeouts. He's had a hard time getting his guys lined up, and it's still happening.
Again, he has to move Howell from the right to the left. Gerhardt still in the ball game. And this is Gerhardt once more, and he's going to get the first down. Down to about the 7-yard line. The clock continues to tick down.
But a very brave performance in the last couple carries. He's the son of a coach. His dad, Todd, is a high school coach at Norco. Brother Garth, offensive lineman at Arizona State. Triplet sisters play softball at Arizona State, but now Kimball's back in the game.
10th play of this drive. It's consumed more than 8 minutes. And here's a pitch to Kimball. Kimball cuts back. He is at the 2, fumbles the ball. It goes into the end zone and is knocked out of bounds. And they're going to mark it at about the 3-yard line, I believe.
This is interesting. Harbaugh's all the way down there on the 5-yard line. They're saying Kimball recovered it in the end zone before it bounced out of bounds. The Oregon Duck is even over there involved in the conversation.
Yeah, that's right. Well, this was the situation. Remember, Oregon lost to Cal last year on a play very similar to this.
Cameron Colvin in the same corner of the end zone, I believe. Kimball finding some room. Patrick Chung causing the fumble. Nice straight arm by Kimball. He had it. That's a touchdown. It looked like he recovered it and hit the pylon.
Well, this is going to be interesting.
Pops up into the air.
I think
there,
you're
Kimball
right.
has possession. Foot's in bounds.
That's
on the pylon. Touchdown,
you
Stanford.
are right. You are right, sir. And now they're calling touchdown.
The ball was fumbled forward, was recovered out of bounds. The player crossed the sideline inbounds. The ball is given to the fumbling team at the spot of the fumble. Second down.
I don't agree with that.
Now they're saying he fumbled it forward. So here's another look at it.
Timeout. The ruling on the field is under review.
They are going to take a look at it here. Anthony Kimball following the ball.
It would be a forward fumble, and you can't advance.
The ruling on the field is reversed. The player recovered his fumble with a foot down inbounds and carried it across the goal line. Touchdown.
And that's the right call, we believe.
Well, that's certainly what we saw up here. And wild celebration on the Stanford sideline. Boos rained down from the people left here in Autzen Stadium. It has stopped raining, but Oregon's going to get a shot.
So that rule is the only person that can recover a forward fumble is the fumbler, and that in this case was Kimball, and that's why the touchdown was allowed. 2-point try for Stanford, and Pritchard's going to throw. Throws to the back of the end zone, incomplete. So it remains a 1-point game, and a field goal will win it for Oregon.
After the fake, absolutely had Toby Gerhart wide open in the flat. You're going to see Gerhart, after the fake, come wide open. He doesn't go there, tries to get Whalen in the back of the end zone. Again, very difficult to test the speed of Jarris Bird, who's right on top of Whalen.
And I think what's going to be interesting, too, is will Mike Bellotti bring Roper off the bench because he's a guy who can throw the football?
Well, I don't know how he could do that right now in good conscience, being that Masoli has taken him all the way through this football game. Granted, he's had some fumbles. The last turnover for the Ducks was not Masoli's fault. It was a bad snap by Unger, and Roper's been standing over there cold the entire game, and he hasn't taken off that red scout team jersey. Of course, he's wearing it because he's signaling in the plays to Masoli. So he hasn't taken off the headset either.
Right, that kind of answers the question, doesn't it? So Zachary, who does not have a particularly strong leg to begin with, will try to drive this one. He hit it pretty good, actually. He's going to drive Crenshaw all the way back to 5-yard line. Gets the 10, the 15, tries to cut the outside, still on his feet. Now he goes head down to about the 25. And Oregon will start at its own 26-yard line. They gained 15 yards on that penalty.
That's a lot of yards, especially when you're talking about a field goal situation. You see Roper whispering in the ear of the starting quarterback, Jeremiah Masoli. This is a defining moment in his very short Duck career thus far. Masoli's only junior college transfer, so he's got a little experience, but has only been here since fall camp. So this is a relatively young quarterback who's almost like a freshman. Definitely in this system he is.
Goes with an empty backfield on first down. Now he steps up and throws underneath, and one hops it. Intended for Terrence Scott, and that's going to get the crowd go by. Masoli this time straightens up, throws for Scott. He makes the catch. That might have been a bigger play were he not led so much.
Well, that time Masoli gets it together and throws a nice ball, at least to completion.
Masoli on a drag pattern for Scott this time. Scott has some room. He's across midfield, down to the 47-yard line. Don't go anywhere. Stanford trying to change personnel on the fly here. And a little confusion defensively for the Cardinal here as they try to get lined up right. Quick snap. Masoli rolls right. Moving pocket here. Now he throws, and a nice job to knock it away that time by Wapamo Asai.
Standing back in the pocket and throwing.
They still need about 15 yards. And here's a swing pass to Jeremiah Johnson. Steps out of a tackle and gets it inside the 35-yard line and out of bounds.
Well, in a 2-minute situation, I don't know who else I'd want in the world calling plays other than Chip Kelly. With the ability of this Oregon offense to play fast whenever they want, it's really advantageous late in a game like this.
And Stanford missing a lot of first tackles. They hand to Johnson this time. Gets it to about the 33. I mean, even from here, it's a makeable field goal. It's about 50 yards from here. Certainly would test Morgan Flint, but makeable. Second down, 1:20 remaining in the ball game. Oregon still has all 3 timeouts. This time, Masoli has all day and throws it away. Had Johnson. Masoli back again. Now he steps up. He'll run. He's got room. He's the 25, the 20, to the 15, to the 10-yard line and out of bounds.
Now they love him.
Yeah, exactly. A 25-yard gain. Now I'm sure the Ducks think it might not even have to try the field goal.
Well, once again, great protection and nice big throwing lanes in that spread offense for Masoli to take off. Does a great job stepping out of tackles. Nobody really had a chance, especially with the strength of the legs that Jeremiah Masoli possesses, and that's a big play.
First down at the 8-yard line. Give it to Johnson. Johnson to about the 6. This time it's Masoli on the keeper, and you can see Stanford trying to hawk the ball down to the 3-yard line. 35 seconds. That's interesting, isn't it? I mean, it's not much more than an extra point right now. I'm sure they'll just keep this in the middle of the field. And they give it to Blunt, and Blunt's going to take it in for a touchdown. And Oregon moves virtually the length of the field. And they did it very quickly.
Barry, we talked about the Stanford defense because they don't play a lot of guys, tiring in the fourth quarter. And Chip Kelly's pace and ability to call plays quickly, and Masoli's legs and the running backs were just too much for Stanford to handle at the very end of the game. LeGarrette Blunt, you can see that set up from a mile away, takes it in, and a nice collapsing of that Stanford defense by the left side of that Oregon offensive line. Just beautifully executed drive. Even though Masoli could barely throw the ball, he did it with his legs, and that's all they needed to do. Again, Chip Kelly told us, it's not a beauty contest. We're going to run the ball, and you have to give it up for Jeremiah Masoli with that big run to set up the touchdown. Even though he's getting booed by his home fans, steps up and wins the game for the Oregon Ducks.
That was an 11-play drive, and Oregon did not have to use a timeout.
They battled all the way through, but ultimately just an ability to play too fast by this Oregon offense.
Oregon, of course, yeah, well, they will go for 2 to try to make it a 7-point ball game. And Blunt's going to get it in there for the 2-point conversion. So it is a 7-point game with 6 seconds remaining to be played. Well, time now for our Pontiac game-changing performance, and of course it is for the Oregon Ducks. And the last play with LeGarrette Blunt taking it in for what should be the winning touchdown, for being named today's Pontiac Pac-10 game-changing performance. Pontiac will award the University of Oregon $1,000 to its general scholarship fund. Pontiac, official performance machines of the Pac-10. Smiles everywhere on the Oregon sideline.
You have to say, that last drive, just a thing of beauty by Chip Kelly. The way he called it, they didn't even have to worry about Flint not being in this situation, kicking the ball after Matt Evenson was pulled last week. They didn't even have to worry about him kicking. All they had to do was run it in.
And I would have to think they will not give Owusu a chance to return this football.
They'll squib it.
And he does squib it down there, and Owusu gets a big hop at the 20-yard line, and there's that crossfield pass. And it's Baldwin trying to do something, and he's not going to be able to do anything, and this game is going to be over. And Oregon, with a tremendous last drive, you really have to give it up for the Ducks. And we've heard there's a flag on the field. I don't see one. I don't see a flag right now.
By the return team.
Well, there you are.
Penalty is declined.
They'll decline the penalty, and Oregon will win this. And you really got to give it up for the Ducks here, Pete.
Well, they really did come together at the end of the game and handled their business. A lot of turnovers in the second half. Mike Bellotti is not going to be pleased. Pretty sloppy game in some very sporadic, sloppy conditions, but they got it together. Stanford with a great drive, which we thought was going to win the game for them, but Oregon comes back with an even better drive and takes it, and once again, Jeremiah Masoli pulling it off with that great run, setting up LeGarrette Blunt.
35-28 ball game. 307 rushing yards for the Oregon Ducks, and that is what they do. And they did it extremely well on that final drive. So Stanford comes here, gives it a gallant effort in abysmal conditions. Oregon comes away with a drive of 75 yards at the end of the game to win it with 6 seconds remaining on the clock. Final score once more, the Oregon Ducks 35, the Stanford Cardinal 28.